Budget 25-26 Speech of Nirmala Sitharaman, Minister of Finance, February 1, 2025. Honorable Speaker, I present the budget for 25-26. This budget continues our government's effort to accelerate growth, secure inclusive development, invigorate private sector investments, uphold household sentiments, and enhance spending power of India's rising middle class. Today, we embark on a journey to unlock our nation's tremendous potential for great prosperity and global positioning under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. As we complete the first quarter of the 21st century, continuing geopolitical headwinds suggest lower economic growth over the medium term. However, our aspiration for a Viksit Bharat inspires us. The transformation work we have done during our government's first two terms guide us to march us forward resolutely. Our economy is the fastest growing among all major economies. Our development track record of the past 10 years and structural reforms have drawn global attention. Confidence in India's capability and potential has only grown in this period. We see the next 5 years as a unique opportunity to realize Sabka Vikas, stimulating balanced growth in all regions. The great Telugu poet and playwright Gurajada Apparao had said, Desa Matte Matti Kodai, Desa Matte Manu Shulai, meaning a country is not just its soil, a country is its people. In line with this, for us, Viksit Bharat encompasses zero poverty, 100% good quality school education, access to high quality, affordable, and comprehensive healthcare, 100% skilled labor with meaningful employment, 70% women in economic activities, and farmers making our country the food basket of the world. In this budget, the proposed development measures span 10 broad areas focusing on Garib, youth, Annadata, and Nari, spurring agricultural growth and productivity, building rural prosperity and resilience, taking everyone together on an inclusive growth path, boosting manufacturing and furthering making India, supporting MSMEs, enabling employment-led development, investing in people, economy, and innovation, securing energy supplies, promoting exports, nurturing innovation. For this journey of development, our four potential engines are agriculture, MSME, investment, and exports. Agriculture, MSME, investment, and export. The fuel is our reforms, the guiding spirit is our inclusivity, and the destination is Viksit Bharat. This budget aims to initiate transformative reforms across six domains during the next 5 years. These will augment our growth potential and global competitiveness. These domains are taxation, power sector, urban development, mining, financial sector, and regulatory reforms. Agriculture as the first engine. Now I move to specific proposals, beginning with agriculture as the first engine. Prime Minister Dhanya Dhanya Krishi Yojana, Developing Agri Districts Program. Prime Minister Dhanya Dhanya Krishi Yojana, Developing Agri Districts Program. Motivated by the success of Aspirational Districts Program, our government will undertake a Prime Minister Dhanya Dhanya Krishi Yojana in partnership with states through the convergence of existing schemes and specialized measures. The program will cover 100 districts with low productivity, moderate crop intensity, and below average credit parameters. It aims to enhance agricultural productivity, adopt crop diversification, and sustainable agricultural practices, augment post-harvest storage at the panchayat and block level, improve irrigation facilities, facilitate availability of long-term and short-term credit. This program is likely to help 1.7 crore farmers. Building Rural Prosperity and Resilience, a comprehensive multi-sectoral rural prosperity and resilience program will be launched in partnership with the state. This will address underemployment in agriculture through skilling, investment technology, and invigorating the rural economy. The goal is to generate ample opportunities in rural areas so that migration is an option, not a necessity. Program will focus on rural women, young farmers, rural youth, and marginal and small farmers and landless families. Details are in Annexure 1A. Global and domestic best practices will be incorporated, and appropriate technical and financial assistance will be sought from multilateral development banks. In Phase 1, 100 developing agri-districts will be covered. Atmanirbharta in pulses. Our government is implementing the National Mission for Edible Oilseeds. For achieving Atmanirbharta in edible oils, our farmers have the capability to grow enough for our needs and more. 10 years ago, we made concerted efforts and succeeded in achieving near self-sufficiency in pulses. Farmers responded to the need by increasing the cultivated area by 50%, and government arranged for procurement and remunerative prices. Since then, with rising incomes and better affordability, our consumption of pulses has increased significantly. Our government will launch a 6-year mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses with a special focus on Tur, Urad and Masoor. Details are in Annexure B. Central agencies NAFED and NCCF will be ready to procure these three pulses as much as offered during the next 4 years from farmers who register with these agencies and enter into agreements. It is encouraging that our people are increasingly becoming aware of their nutritional needs. It is a sign of our society comprehensive program for vegetables and fruits. It is a sign of a society becoming healthier. With rising income levels, the consumption of vegetables, fruits, and Sri Anna is increasing significantly. A comprehensive program to promote production, efficient supplies, processing, and remunerative prices for farmers will be launched in partnership with states. Appropriate institutional mechanisms for implementation and participation of farmer producer organizations and cooperatives will be set up. Makhana board in Bihar. For this, there is a special opportunity for the people of Bihar. A Makhana board will be established in the state to improve production, processing, value addition, and marketing of makhana. Production, processing, value addition, and marketing of makhana. The people engaged in these activities will be organized into the FPOs. The board will provide hand holding and training support to makhana farmers and will also work to ensure they receive the benefits of all relevant government schemes. National Mission on High Yielding Seeds. A national mission on high yielding seeds will be launched, a strengthening aimed at strengthening research ecosystem, targeted development and propagation of seeds with high yield, pest resistance and climate resilience, and commercial availability of more than 100 seed varieties released since July 24. Fisheries. India ranks second largest globally in fish production and aquaculture. Seafood exports are valued at 60,000 crore. To unlock the untapped potential of the marine sector, our government will bring in an enabling framework for sustainable harnessing of fisheries from Indian exclusive economic zone and high seas, with a special focus on Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands. Mission for Cotton Productivity. For the benefit of lakhs of cotton growing farmers, I am pleased to announce a mission for cotton productivity. This 5-year mission will facilitate significant improvements in productivity and sustainability of cotton farming and promote extra long staple cotton varieties. The best of science and technology support will be provided to farmers aligned with our integrated 5F vision for textile sector. This will help in increasing incomes of the farmers and ensure a steady supply of quality cotton for rejuvenating India's traditional textile sector. Kisan credit cards facilitate short-term loans for 7.7 crore farmers, fishermen and dairy farmers. The loan limit under the modified interest subvention scheme will be enhanced from 3 lakh crore 3 lakh to 5 lakh for loans taken through KCC. For Atmanirbharta and urea production, our government has reopened three dormant urea plants in the eastern region to further augment urea supply. A plant with annual capacity of 12 lakh metric tons will be set up at Namrup, Assam. India Post as a catalyst for a rural economy. India Post with 1.5 lakh rural post offices, complemented by the India Post Payment Bank and a vast network of 12.4 lakh Dak Sevaks, will be repositioned to act as a catalyst for the rural economy. Details are in Annexure C. India Post will also be transformed as a large public logistics organization. This will meet the rising needs of Vishwakarmas, new entrepreneurs, women, self-help groups, MSMEs, and large business organizations. Support to NCDC. Our government will provide support to NCDC for its lending operations for the cooperative sector. MSME as the second engine. I move to MSMEs as the second engine, which encompasses manufacturing and services with a focus on MSMEs numbering 5.7 crore. Revision in the criteria, classification criteria for MSMEs. Currently, over 1 crore registered MSMEs employing 7.5 crore people and generating 36% of our manufacturing have come together to position India as a global manufacturing hub. With their quality products, these MSMEs are responsible for 45% of our exports. To help them achieve higher efficiencies of scale, technological upgradation, and better access to capital, the investment and turnover limits for classification of MSMEs will be enhanced to 2.5 and 2 times respectively. This will give them the confidence to grow and generate employment for our youth. The details are in Annexure D. The investment and turnover limit for classification of all MSMEs will be enhanced to 2.5 and 2 times respectively. This will give them the confidence to grow and generate employment for our youth. To improve access to credit, credit guarantee cover will be enhanced for micro and small enterprises from 5 crore to 10 crore, leading to additional credit of 1.5 lakh crore in the next 5 years for startups from 10 crore to 20 crore, with the guarantee fee being moderated to 1% for loans in 27 focus sectors important for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And for well-run export MSMEs, the term loans up to 20 crore. Credit cards and micro enterprises. We will introduce customized credit cards with 5 lakh limit for micro enterprises registered on Udyam portal. In the first year, 10 lakh such cards will be issued. Fund of funds for startup. The alternate investment funds for startup will have received commitments of more than 91,000 crore. These are supported by the fund of funds set up with the government contribution of 10,000 crore. Now a new fund of funds with expanded scope and fresh contribution of another 10,000 crore will be set up. Scheme for first time entrepreneurs. A new scheme will be launched for 5 lakh women, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, first time entrepreneurs. This will provide term loans up to 2 crore during the next 5 years. The scheme will incorporate lessons from the successful Stand Up India scheme. Our online capacity building for entrepreneurship and managerial skills will also be organized. Measures for labor-intensive sectors to promote employment and entrepreneurship opportunities in the labor-intensive sectors. Our government will undertake specific policy and facilitation measures. Focus product scheme for footwear and leather sectors to enhance the productivity, quality and competitiveness of India's footwear and leather sector. A focus product scheme will be implemented. The scheme will support design, capacity, component manufacturing and machinery required for the production of non-leather quality footwear. Besides the support for leather footwear and products, the scheme is expected to facilitate employment for 22 lakh persons, generate a turnover of 4 lakh crore and exports of 1.1 lakh crore. Measures for the toy sector. Building up of national action plan for toys, we will implement a scheme to make India a global hub for toys. The scheme will focus on development of clusters, skills and manufacturing ecosystem that will create high quality, unique, innovative and sustainable toys that will represent the Made in India brand. Support for food processing. In line with our commitment towards Purvodaya, We will establish a National Food Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management in Bihar. National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management in Bihar. The institute will provide a strong fillip to food processing activities in the entire eastern region. This will result in enhanced income for the farmers through value addition to their produce, skilling and skilling entrepreneurship and employment opportunities for the youth. Our government will set up a national manufacturing mission covering small, medium, and large industries for furthering Make in India by providing policy support, execution roadmaps, governance, and monitoring framework for central ministries and states. Given our commitment to climate-friendly development, mission will also support clean tech manufacturing. This will aim to improve domestic value addition and build our ecosystem for solar PV cells, EV batteries, motors and controllers, electrolyzers and wind turbines, very high voltage transmission equipment and grid scale batteries. Now I move to investment as the third engine, which encompasses investing in people, investing in economy, and investing in innovation. Investing in people, Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0. Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 program provides nutritional support to more than 8 crore children, 1 crore pregnant women, and lactating mothers all over the country, and about 20 lakh adolescent girls in the aspirational district and northeast region. The cost norms for nutritional support will enhance appropriately. Atal Tinkering Labs. 50,000 Atal Tinkering Labs will be set up in government schools in the next 5 years to cultivate the spirit of curiosity, innovation, foster a scientific temper among young minds. Broadband connectivity to government secondary schools and PHCs. Broadband connectivity will be provided to all government secondary schools and primary health centers in rural areas under the BharatNet project. Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak Scheme. We propose to implement a Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak Scheme to provide a digital form Indian language books for school and higher education. This aims to help students understand their subjects better. National Centers for Excellence or for Skilling, building on the initiative announced in July 24 budget. 5 National Centers of Excellence for Skilling will be set up with global expertise and partnerships to equip our youth with the skills required for Make in India, make for the world manufacturing. The partnerships will cover curricular design, training of trainers, skill certification framework, and periodic reviews. Expansion of capacity in IITs. Total number of students in 23 IITs have increased 100% from 65,000 to 1.35 lakh in past 10 years. Additional infrastructure will be created in 5 IITs after 2014 to facilitate education for 6,500 more students. Hostel and other infrastructure capacity at IIT Patna will also be expanded. Center of Excellence in AI for Education. I had announced 3 centers of excellence in artificial intelligence for agriculture, health, and sustainable cities in 2023. Now, a center of excellence in artificial intelligence for education will be set up with a total outlay of 500 crore. Our expansion of medical education, our government has added almost 1.1 lakh UG and PG medical seats in 10 years, an increase of 130%. In the next year, 10,000 additional seats will be added to in medical years, colleges and hospitals towards the goal of adding 75,000 seats in the next 5 years. Daycare cancer centers in all district hospitals. Our government will facilitate setting up of cancer centers in all district hospitals in the next 3 years. 200 centers will be established in 25-26. Strengthening urban livelihoods, our government has been giving priority to assisting urban poor and vulnerable groups. A scheme for socio-economic upliftment of urban workers will be implemented to help them improve their incomes, have sustainable livelihoods, and a better quality of life. PM Swanidhi scheme has benefited more than 68 lakh vendors, giving them respite from high interest informal sector loans. Building on this success, the scheme will be revamped with enhanced loan from banks, UPI linked credit cards with 30,000 limit, and capacity building support. Social Security scheme and welfare of online platform workers. Gig workers of online platforms provide great dynamism to new age services economy. Recognizing their contribution, our government will arrange for their identity cards and registration on the eShram portal. They will be provided healthcare under the PM Jan Arogya Yojana. This measure is likely to assist 1 crore gig workers. Investing in the economy, public-private partnership in infrastructure. Each infrastructure-related ministry will come up with a 3-year pipeline of projects that can be implemented in a PPP mode. States will also be encouraged to do so and can seek support from the IIPDF India Infrastructure Project Development Fund scheme to prepare PPP proposals. Each infrastructure-related ministry will come up with a 3-year pipeline of projects that can be implemented in the PPP mode. States will also be encouraged to do so and seek support from the IIPDF India Infrastructure Development Fund. Support to states for infrastructure, an outlay of 1.5 lakh crore is proposed for the 50-year interest-free loans to states for capital expenditure and incentives for reforms. Asset monetization plan 25 to 30, building on the success of first asset monetization plan announced in 21, second plan 25 to 30 will be launched to plow back capital of 10 lakh crore in the new projects. Regulatory and fiscal measures will be fine-tuned to support the plan. Since 2019, 15 crore households representing 80% of the India's population have been provided access to portable tap water connections. To achieve 100% coverage, I am pleased to announce the extension of the mission until 2028 with an enhanced total outlay. The mission's focus will be on quality of infrastructure and O&M of rural piped water supply schemes through Jan Bhagidari. Separate MOUs will be signed with states' UTs to ensure sustainability and citizen-centric water service delivery. Building on July budget proposals, urban sector reforms related to governance, municipal services, urban land, and planning will be incentivized. Urban Challenge Fund. The government will set up an Urban Challenge Fund of 1 lakh crore to implement the proposal of cities as growth hubs, creative redevelopment of cities, and water and sanitation announced in the July budget. This fund will finance up to 25% of cost of bankable projects with a stipulation of at least 50% of the cost is funded from bonds, bank loans and PPPs. An allocation of 10,000 crore is proposed for 25-26. We will incentivize electricity distribution reforms and augmentation of intra-state transmission capacity by states. This will improve financial health and capacity for electricity companies. Additional borrowing of 5.5% of GSDP will be allowed to states contingent to these on these reforms. Nuclear energy mission for Viksit Bharat, development of at least 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy by 2047 is essential for our energy transition efforts. For an active partnership with the private sector towards this goal, amendments to the Atomic Energy Act and Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act will be taken up. A nuclear energy mission for research and development of small a nuclear energy mission for R&D of small modular reactors with an outlay of 20,000 crore will be set up. At least 5 indigenously SMRs will be operationalized by 2033. Shipbuilding. The shipbuilding financial assistance policy will be revamped to address cost disadvantages. This will also include credit notes for shipbreaking in Indian yards to promote the circular economy. Large ships from a specified size will be included in the infrastructure harmonized master list. Shipbuilding clusters will be facilitated to increase the range, categories, and capacity of ships. This will include additional infrastructure facilities, skilling, and technology to develop the entire ecosystem. Maritime Development Fund. For long term financing for the maritime industry, a Maritime Development Fund with a corpus of 25,000 crore will be set up. This will be for distributed support and promoting competition. This will have a 49% contribution by the government and the balance will be mobilized by the ports and private sector. Udaan has enabled 1.5 crore middle class people to meet their aspirations for speedier travel. The scheme has connected 88 airports and operationalized 619 routes. Inspired by that success, a modified Udaan scheme will be launched to enhance the regional connectivity to 120 new destinations and carry 4 crore passengers in the next 10 years. Modified Udaan scheme will be launched to enhance regional connectivity to 120 new destinations and carry 4 crore passengers in the next 10 years. The scheme will also support helipads and smaller airports in hilly, aspirational, and northeastern region districts. Greenfield Airport in Bihar. Greenfield airports will be facilitated in Bihar to meet the future needs of the state. There will be, in addition to the expansion of capacity of Patna Airport, and a brownfield airport in Bhita. Western Koshi Canal project in Mithilanchal. Western Koshi Canal project in Mithilanchal. Financial support will be provided for the Western Koshi Canal uh, ERM project benefiting a large number of farmers cultivating over 50,000 hectares of land in the Mithilanchal region of Bihar. Mining sector reforms. Mining sector reforms, including those for minor minerals, will be encouraged through sharing of best practices and institution of state mining index. A policy for recovery of critical minerals from tailings will be brought out. Swami Fund 2, under the special window for affordable and mid-income housing, 50,000 dwelling units in stressed housing projects have been completed and keys handed over to home buyers. Another 40,000 units will be completed in 25, further helping middle class families who were paying EMIs on loans taken for apartments while also paying rent for their current dwellings. Building on this success, Swami Fund 2 will be established as a blended finance facility with contribution from the government, bank, and private investors. This fund of 15,000 crore will aim for expeditious completion of another 1 lakh units. PM Gati Shakti data for private sector for furthering PPPs and assisting the private sector in project planning. Access to relevant data and maps from the Gati Shakti portal will be provided. Tourism for employment-led growth. Top 50 tourist destination sites in the country will be developed in partnership with states through challenge mode. Land for building key infrastructure will have to be provided by states. Hotels in those destinations will be included in the infrastructure HML. The following measures will be taken for facilitating employment-led growth: organizing incentive skill development programs, intensive skill development programs for our youth, including in institutes of hospitality management, providing mudra loans for homestays, improving ease of travel and connectivity to tourist destinations, providing performance linked incentives to states for effective destination management, including tourist amenities, cleanliness, and marketing efforts. Introducing streamlined e-visa facilities along with visa-free fee waivers for certain tourist groups, continuing with the emphasis on places of spiritual and religious significance in the July budget. There will be special focus on destinations related to life and times of the Lord Buddha. Medical tourism and Heal in India. Medical tourism and Heal in India will be promoted in partnership with the private sector along with the capacity building and easier visa norms. Investing in innovation to implement private sector driven research, development, and innovation initiative announced in the July budget. I am now allocating 20,000 crore. Deep Tech Fund of Funds. A Deep Tech Fund of Funds will also be explored to catalyze a next generation startups as part of this initiative. PM Research Fellowship. In the next 5 years, under the Prime Minister Research Fellowship Scheme, we provide 10,000 fellowships for the technological research in IITs and IISc with enhanced financial support. The gene, being, gene bank for crop germ plasm. The second gene bank with 10 germ plasm lines will be set up for future food and nutritional security. This will provide conservation support to both public and private sectors for genetic resources. National Geospatial Mission. We will start a national geospatial mission to develop foundational geospatial infrastructure and data. Using PM Gati Shakti, this mission will facilitate modernization of land records, urban planning, and design of infrastructure projects. Gyan Bharatam Mission. A Gyan Bharatam mission for survey documentation and conservation of manuscript heritage with academic institutions, museums, libraries, and private collectors will be undertaken to cover more than 1 crore manuscripts. We will set up a national digital repository of Indian knowledge systems and knowledge sharing. Now I move to exports as the fourth engine. Exports as the fourth engine. Export promotion mission. We will set up an export promotion mission with sectoral and ministerial targets driven jointly by Ministries of Commerce, MSME, and Finance. It will facilitate easy access to export credit, cross border factoring support, and support to MSMEs to tackle non tariff measures in overseas markets. Bharat Trade Net, a digital public infrastructure. Bharat Trade Net for international trade will be set up as a unified platform for trade documentation and financing solutions. This will complement the Unified Logistics Interface platform. The BTN will be aligned with international practices. Support for integration with global supply chains. Support will be provided to develop domestic manufacturing capacities for our economy's integration with global supply chains. Sectors will be identified based on objective criteria. Facilitation groups with participation of senior officers and industry representatives will be formed for select products and supply chains. Through this, there are huge opportunities related to Industry 4.0, which needs high skills and talent. Our youth have both. Our government will support the domestic electronic equipment industry to leverage this opportunity for the benefit of the youth. National Framework for GCC. A framework will be formulated as guidance to states for promoting global capability sectors in the emerging Tier 2 cities. This will suggest measures to enhance availability of talent and infrastructure, building bylaws, reforms, and mechanisms for collaboration in industry. Warehousing facility for air cargo. Our government will facilitate upgradation of infrastructure and warehousing for air cargo, including high value perishable horticulture produce. Cargo screening and customs protocol will be streamlined and made user friendly. Reforms as the fuel. Now I move to reforms as the fuel and details specific reforms. Tax reforms. Over the past 10 years, our government has implemented several reforms for the convenience of taxpayers, such as faceless assessment, taxpayers charter, faster returns, almost 99% returns being on self assessment, Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. Continuing these efforts, I reaffirm the commitment of the tax department to trust first, scrutinize later. I also propose to introduce the new income tax bill next week. I will detail the indirect tax reforms and changes in direct taxes in Part B. Financial sector development and reforms and development. FDI in insurance sector. The FDI limit for the insurance sector will be raised from 74 to 100%. This enhanced limit will be available for those companies which invest the entire premium in India. The current guardrails and conditionalities associated with foreign investment will be reviewed and simplified, expanding services of the India Post Payment Bank. Services of the India Post Payment Bank will be deepened and expanded in rural areas. Credit enhancement facility by the NAFBID. The NAFBID will set up a partial credit enhancement facility for corporate bonds for infrastructure. Grameen Credit Score. Public sector banks will develop Grameen Credit Score framework to serve the credit needs of SHG members and people in rural areas. Pension sector. A forum for regulatory coordination and development of pension products will be set up. KYC simplification. To implement the earlier announcement on simplifying the KYC process, the revamped central KYC registry will be rolled out in 2025. We will also implement a streamlined system for periodic updating. Merger of companies, requirements and procedures for speedy approval of company mergers will be rationalized. The scope for fast track mergers will also be widened and the process made simpler. Bilateral investment treaties. As proposed in the interim budget, we signed bilateral investment treaties with two countries in 2024 to encourage sustained foreign investment and the spirit of First Develop India. The current model BIT will be revamped and made more investor friendly. In the regulatory reforms in the last 10 years, in several aspects, including financial and non financial, our government has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to ease of doing business. We are determined to ensure that our regulations must keep with technological innovations and global policy developments. A light touch regulatory framework based on principles and trust will unleash productivity and employment. Through this framework, we will update regulations that were made under old laws to develop this modern, flexible, people friendly, and trust based regulatory framework appropriate for the 21st century. I propose four specific measures. High level committee for regulatory reforms. A high level committee for regulatory reforms will be set up for the review of all non financial sector regulations, certifications, licenses, and permissions. The committee will be expected to make recommendations within a year. The objective is to strengthen trust based economic governance and take transformational measures to enhance ease of doing business, especially in the matters of inspections and compliances. States will be encouraged to join in this endeavor. Friendliness Index of States. Investment Friendliness Index of States will be launched in 2025 to further the spirit of competitive cooperative federalism. FSDC mechanism. Under the FSDC control, financial stability and development control, a mechanism will be set up to evaluate impact of the current financial regulations and subsidiary instructions. It will also formulate a framework to enhance their responsiveness and development of the financial sector. Jan Bishwas Bill 2.0. In the Jan Bishwas Act 2023, more than 180 legal provisions were decriminalized. Our government will bring up Jan Bishwas Bill 2.0 to decriminalize more than 100 provisions in various laws. Jan Vishwas Bill 2.0 to decriminalize more than 100 provisions in various laws. Fiscal policy. Now I move to fiscal policy matters. Fiscal consolidation. In the July budget, I had committed to staying the course for fiscal consolidation. Our endeavor will be to keep a fiscal deficit each year such that central government debt remains on a declining path as a percentage of the GDP. The roadmap of the next 6 years has been detailed in the FRBM statement. The revised estimate of the total receipts other than borrowings is 31 lakh crore. The revised estimate of total receipts other than borrowings is 31 lakh crore, of which net tax receipts is 25 lakh crore. The revised estimates of total expenditure is 47 lakh crore, of which capital expenditure is about 10 lakh crore. The revised estimate of the fiscal deficit is 4.8% of the GDP. The revised estimate of total receipt other than borrowing is 31 lakh crore, of which net tax receipt are 25.5 lakh crore. The revised estimate of total expenditure is 47 lakh crore, of which capital expenditure is about 10 lakh crore. The revised fiscal estimate of the fiscal deficit is 4.8% of GDP. Coming to 25-26, the total receipts other than borrowings and total expenditure are estimated at 34.96 lakh crore and 50 lakh crore respectively. 34.56, 96 and 50 lakh crore respectively. The net tax receipts are estimated at 28 lakh crore. The fiscal deficit is estimated to be 4.4% of the GDP. To finance the fiscal deficit, the net market borrowings from dated securities are estimated at 11.5 lakh crore. The balance financing is expected to come from savings, small savings and other sources. The gross market borrowings are estimated at 14.82 lakh crore. To finance the fiscal deficit, the net borrowings from dated securities are estimated at 11.54 lakh crore. The balance financing is expected to come from small savings and other sources. The gross market borrowings are estimated at 14.82 lakh crore. I will now move to part B, indirect taxes. My proposal relating to customs aim to rationalize tariff structure and address duty inversion. Rationalize tariff structure and address duty inversion. These will support domestic manufacturing and value addition, promote exports, facilitate trade and provide relief to common people. Rationalization of custom tariff structure for industrial goods as part of the comprehensive review of customs rate structure announced in July 24 budget. I propose to remove seven tariff rates. This is over and above the seven tariff rates removed in 23-24 budget. After this, there will be only eight remaining tariff rates, including zero rate. Apply appropriate cess to broadly maintain effective duty incidence, except on a few items where such incidence will reduce marginally. Levy not more than one cess or surcharge. Therefore, I propose to exempt social welfare surcharge on 82 tariff lines that are subject to a cess. I shall now take up the sector specific proposals. Relief on import to drugs or medicines to provide relief to patients, particularly those suffering from cancer, rare diseases, and other severe chronic diseases. I propose to add 36 life-saving drugs and medicines to the list of medicines fully exempted from basic customs duty. I also propose to add six life-saving medicines to the list, attracting concessional customs duty of 5%. Full exemption and concessional duty will also respectively apply on the bulk drugs for manufacture of the above. Specified drugs and medicines under the patient assistance programs run by pharmaceutical companies are fully exempt from the basic customs duty, provided the medicines are supplied free of cost to patients. I propose to add 37 more medicines along with 13 new patient assistance programs. Support to domestic manufacturing and value addition, critical minerals. In the July 24 budget, I had fully exempted basic customs duty on 25 critical minerals that are not domestically available. I had also reduced BCD of two other such minerals to provide a major fillip to their processing, especially by MSMEs. Now I fully exempt cobalt powder and waste, the scrap of lithium ion battery, lead, zinc, and 12 more critical minerals. This will help secure their availability for manufacturing in India and promote more jobs for our youth. To promote textile domestic production of technical textile products such as agro-textile, medical textile, and geotextiles at competitive rate. I propose to add two types of shuttle-less looms to the list of fully exempted textile machinery. I also propose to revise the BCD rate on knitted fabrics covered by 9 tariff lines from 10% or 20% to 20% or 115 per kg, whichever is higher. In line with Make in India policy and to rectify inverted duty structure, I propose to increase the ABCD on interactive flat panel display from 10% to 20% and reduce the BCD to 5% on open cell and other components. In 23-24 budget for the manufacture of open cells of LCD LED TVs, I had reduced BCD on part of open cell from 5 to 2.5%. To boost further manufacture of such open cells, the BCD on these parts will now stand exempted. Lithium-ion battery to the list of exempted capital goods. I propose to add 35 additional capital goods for EV battery manufacturing and 28 additional goods for mobile phone battery manufacturing. This will boost domestic manufacture of lithium-ion battery both for mobile phones and domestic and electric vehicles. Consider shipping sector. Considering that shipbuilding has a long gestation period, I propose to continue the exemption of BCD on raw materials, components, consumables, and part of the manufacture of ships in another 10 years. I also propose the same dispensation for ship breaking to make it more competitive. Telecommunication. To prevent classification disputes, I propose to reduce the BCD from 20% to 10% on carrier grade Ethernet switches to make it at par with non-carrier grade Ethernet switches. Export promotion, handicraft goods. To facilitate export of handicrafts, I propose to extend the time period for export from 6 months to 1 year, further extendable by another 3 months if required. I also propose to add 9 items to the list of duty-free inputs. Propose to fully exempt BCD on wet blue leather to facilitate imports for domestic value addition and employment. I also propose to exempt crushed leather from 20% export duty to facilitate exports by small tanners. Marine products. To enhance India's competitiveness in the global seafood market, I propose to reduce BCD from 30 to 5% on frozen fish paste, surimi, for manufacture and export of its analog products. I also propose to reduce BCD from 15% to 5% on fresh hydrolysate for manufacture of ship and shrimp feeds. Domestic MROs for railway goods. In July 24 budgets, the product to promote development of domestic MROs for aircrafts and ships, I had extended the time limit for export of foreign origin goods that were imported for repairs from 6 months to 1 year and further extendable by 1 year. I now propose to extend the same dispensation for railway goods. Time limit trade facilitation. Time limit for provisional assessment. Presently, the Customs Act 1962 does not provide any time limit to finalize provisional assessments, leading to uncertainty and cost to trade. As a measure of promoting ease of doing business, I propose fix a time limit of 2 years extendable by a year for finalizing the provisional assessment. Voluntary compliance. I propose to introduce a new provision that will enable importers or exporters after clearance of goods to voluntarily declare material facts and pay duty with interest but without penalty. This will incentivize voluntary compliance. However, this will not apply in cases where department has already initiated audit or investigation proceedings. Extended time for end use. For industry to better plan their imports, I propose to extend the time limit for the end use of imported inputs in the relevant rules from 6 months to 1 year. This will provide operational flexibility in view of cost and uncertainty of supply. Further, such importers will now have to file only quarterly statement instead of monthly statement. Direct taxes. I now come to my direct tax proposals. In Part A, I have briefly underlined taxation reforms as one of the key reforms to realize our vision of Viksit Bharat. In respect of criminal law, our government has earlier assured in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, replacing the Bharatiya Dand Sanhita. I am happy to inform this august House and the country that the new income tax bill will carry forward the same spirit of Nyaya. The new will be clear and direct in text, with close to half of the present law in terms of both chapters and words. It will be simple to understand for taxpayers and tax administration, leading to tax certainty and reduced litigation. Reforms, however, are not a destination, they are a means to achieve good governance for our people and economy. Providing good governance primarily involves being responsive. The Thirukural captures this in verse 542, which reads, Vanoki valum ulakin nam manuvam vanavan kalnoki valnum kuti. Just as living beings live expecting rains, citizens live expecting good governance. Just as beings live expecting rains, citizens live expecting good governance. Our government is committed to keeping an ear to the ground and a finger on the pulse, responding while balancing our nation building efforts. The following measures will detail just how our government, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address the needs voiced by our citizens. My tax proposals are guided by this spirit. The objectives of my proposals are as follows: personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class, rationalization of tedious TCS for easing difficulties, encouraging voluntary compliance, reducing compliance burden, ease of doing business, employment and investment. I will come to my proposal on personal income tax towards the end. Tedious TCS rationalization for easing difficulties. I propose to rationalize tax deduction at source by reducing the number of rates and thresholds above which TDS is deducted. Number of rates and Reducing the number of rates and thresholds above which TDS is deducted. Further, threshold amounts for tax deduction which will be increased for better clarity and uniformity. The limit for tax deduction on interest for senior citizens is being doubled from the present 50,000 to 1 lakh. Similarly, the annual limit of 2.4 lakh for TDS on rent is being increased to 6 lakh. This will reduce the number of transactions liable to TDS, thus benefiting small payers receiving small payments. The threshold to collect tax at source on remittances under RBI liberalized remittance scheme is proposed to be increased from 7 lakh to 10 lakh. I also propose to remove the TCS on remittances for education purposes where remittance is taken out of a loan taken from specified financial institution. Both TDS and TCS are being applied on any transaction relating to sale of goods. To prevent such compliance difficulties, I propose to omit the TCS. I also propose that provisions of the higher TDS deduction will now only apply in non-PAN cases. In July 24, the delay in payment of TDS up to the due date of filing statement was decriminalized. I propose to provide the same relaxation to TCS provisions as well. Encouraging voluntary compliance, the government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi believes in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas and Sabka Prayas. In line with this, we brought in updated return facility in 2024 for voluntary compliance by taxpayers who had omitted to report their correct income. Our trust in taxpayers was proved right. Nearly 90 lakh taxpayers voluntarily updated their incomes by paying additional tax. Taking this trust further, I now propose to extend the time limit to file updated returns for any assessment year from current limits of 2 years to 4 years. Reducing compliance burden, I propose to reduce the compliance burden for small charitable trusts or institutions by increasing their period of registration from 5 to 10 years. It is also proposed that disproportionate consequences do not arise for minor defaults such as incomplete applications filed by charitable entities. Presently, taxpayers can claim the annual value of self occupied properties as nil only on the fulfillment of certain conditions. Considering difficulties faced by taxpayers, it is proposed to allow the benefit of two such self occupied properties without any condition. Ease of doing business to streamline the process of transfer pricing and to provide an alternative to yearly examination, I propose to introduce a scheme for determining arm's length price of international transaction for a block period of 3 years. This will be in line with global best practices with a view to reduce litigation and provide certainty in international taxation. The scope of safe harbor rules is being expanded. A number of senior and very senior citizens have very old national savings accounts As interest is no longer payable on such accounts, I propose to exempt withdrawals made from NSSS by individuals or on or after the 29th of August 24. I am also proposing to allow similar treatment to NPS Vatsal accounts as is available to normal NPS accounts subject to overall limits. In my speech in July 24, I had promised that all processes, including giving effect to appellate orders, shall be digitized and made paperless over the next 2 years. I am happy to announce that digitization is being made operational. In July 24, we brought in the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme to resolve income tax disputes pending in appeal. The scheme has received such a great response with nearly 33,000 taxpayers having availed of this scheme to settle their disputes. Employment and investments. I have few proposals to promote investment and employment. Tax certainty for electronics manufacturing schemes. It is proposed to provide a presumptive taxation regime for non-residents who provide services to a resident country that is establishing or operating an electronics manufacturing facility. I further propose to introduce a safe harbor for tax certainty for non-residents who store components for supply to specified electronic manufacturing units. Tonnage tax scheme for inland vessels. Presently, the tonnage tax scheme is available only to seagoing ships. The benefits of existing tonnage tax schemes are proposed to be extended to inland vessels registered under Indian Vessels Act 2021 to promote Indian inland water transport in the country. Extension of incorporation of startups. We continue to support the Indian startup ecosystem. I propose to extend the period of incorporation by 5 years to allow the benefit available to startups which are incorporated before 1st April 2030. International Financial Service Center. In order to attract and promote additional services in the IFSC, I am inter alia proposing specific benefits to ship leasing units, insurance offices, and treasury centers of global companies which are set up in the IFSC. Further, to claim benefits, the cutoff date for the commencement in IFSC has also been extended by 5 years to 31 March 2030. Alternative investment funds, Category 1 and Category 2 alternative investment funds are undertaking investment in infrastructure and other such sectors. I propose to provide certainty of taxation to these entities on the gains from securities. To promote funding from sovereign wealth funds and pension funds to the infrastructure sector, I propose to extend the date of making an investment by 5 more years to 31st March 2030. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class, democracy, demography, and demand are the key support pillars in our journey towards Viksit Bharat. The middle class provides strength for India's growth. The government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, has always believed in the admirable energy and ability of the middle class in the nation building. In recognition of their contribution, we have periodically reduced their tax burden. Right after 2014, the nil tax slab was raised to 2.5 lakh, which was further raised to 2.5 lakh, which was further raised to 5 lakh in 2019 and 7 lakh in 2023. This is reflective of our government's trust on the middle class taxpayers. I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income tax of 12 lakh, that is average income of 1 lakh per month, other than special rate income such as capital gains under the new regime. This limit will be 12.75 lakh for salaried taxpayers due to standard deduction of 75,000. Slabs and rates are being changed across the board to benefit all taxpayers. The new tax structure will substantially reduce the taxes of the middle class and leave more money in their hands, boosting household consumption, savings, and investment. In the new tax regime, I propose to revise tax structure as follows: 0 to 4 lakh rupees nil tax, 4 to 8 5%, 8 to 12 10%, 12 to 16 15% tax, 16 to 20 20% tax, 20 to 24 25% tax, and above 24 lakh 30% tax. To taxpayers up to 12 lakh of normal income other than special rate income such as capital gains, tax rebate is being provided in addition to the benefit due to slab rate reduction in such a manner that there is no tax payable by them. The total tax benefit of slab rate changes and rebate at different income levels can be illustrated with examples. A taxpayer in the new regime will, with an income of 12 lakh, will get a benefit of 80,000 in tax, which is 100% of tax payable as per the existing rates. A person having an 18 lakh will get a benefit of 70,000 in tax, 30% of the tax payable in the existing rates. A person with an income of 25 lakh gets a benefit of 1 lakh 10,000, 25% of tax payable as per existing rates. Details of my tax proposals are given in annexure. As a result of these proposals, revenue of 1 lakh crore in direct taxes and 2600 crore in indirect taxes will be foregone. Mr. Speaker, sir, with this I commend the budget to this august house. Jai Hind. So that's all in this one. See you in the next one.